They who practice these 7 states do not come to grief, but there is a terrible elephant roaming in a forest working havoc. If that elephant is killed, then man attains success in all these 7 states, not otherwise. Desire is that elephant. It roams in the forest known as the body. It is maddened by sensuousness. It is restless with conditioning and tendencies. That's vasana. This elephant destroys everybody in this world. It is known by different names: desire, vasana, tendency or mental conditioning, mind, thought, feeling, attachment, etc. It should be slain by the weapon known as courage or determination, born of the realization of oneness. So thought is another word for desire. There's a note at the bottom of this page from the translator. For the words thinking and non-thinking in the last paragraph above, the text uses the words samvedanam and asamvedanam, which imply much more than mere thinking. Cognition, comprehension, feeling, experience and knowledge are also implied by samvedanam. And this is an important point. Very often we speak about thinking in the Yoga Vasishtha, but there's a lot more going on with thinking than we generally understand by the term. We tend to think of thinking as quite cerebral, quite intellectual, the noisy mind. But thinking is the whole emotional impetus behind it. It's the whole drive to thinking. It's the drive to comprehension, the drive to understanding. In the Yoga Vasishtha, we're not concerned with understanding, comprehension. We're concerned with letting go that desire. The desire to make patterns, the desire to make stories, the desire for understanding and comprehension about who we are and what the world is about and who we are in the world. It's this whole desire to make sense of things. This is what's meant by thinking. And this is what we need to let go of. You might think it's a very bad thing to let go of. You might think it's a terrible thing to let go of. You might think, well, why should we let go of all that? Why should we let go of all the ways by which we want to make sense of the world? Because that's what it is. It's us making sense. It's us making it make sense. There's no reality there, no truth there. There are ways of getting by. Our stories are useful, they empower us in various ways, and there's nothing wrong with them as such. But don't mistake them for truth. The only way to get to the truth is to drop all these stories. This is the thinking. And it takes either courage or determination born of the realization of oneness to slay this thinking, this elephant. And I suppose there's 2 ways here that are being mentioned. Courage is like the moral courage, moral virtue. Or it can be slain by realization. Only as long as one believes in objective existence does desire arise. This alone is samsara. The feeling, this is. And that's what we feel, isn't it? That's quite a good way of describing most of our attitudes to the world. It is. How can you doubt this? How can you question this? This is. But this is samsara. That attitude is a description of samsara. Its cessation is liberation, moksha. Once you can get over that feeling that the world is essentially true, then you're going beyond samsara. This is the essence of jnana, or wisdom. Recognition of objects gives rise to desire. Non-recognition of objects ends desire. When desire ends, the jiva drops its self-limitation. The great man therefore abandons all thoughts concerning what has been experienced and what has not been experienced. I declare with uplifted arms that the thought-free, notionless state is the best. It is infinitely superior to the sovereignty of the world. Non-thinking is known as yoga. So this is the condition or the state beyond cognition, comprehension, feeling, experience and knowledge. It's a state of natural, spontaneous harmony. Remaining in that state, perform appropriate actions or do nothing. As long as thoughts of I and mine persist, sorrow does not cease. When such thoughts cease, sorrow ceases. Knowing this, do as you please. So the Yoga Vasishtha came true in the end. This was a long chapter on the seven states of yoga. And it started off with quite a strong emphasis on moral virtue, on righteous activities, meritorious activities, and how realization of truth is dependent on this. But then about halfway through the chapter, it said that even the ignorant man is awakened by accidental coincidence. It boils down to accidental coincidence. And this is the realization of the truth which happens by coincidence, by chance. And once it happens, and once we've realized it's happened, and once we've appreciated what's happened, then we can make the effort to become established in it. And the greatest impediment to being established in it is the notion of objective existence, that there is something out there and there's a me here. Once we can get over that, then we can become more firmly established in the state of yoga.